You made it here. That already means something. Hi, I'm Kelly, overly educated, highly opinionated, queer eldest daughter professionally. And this is Encomium, a tribute to you, a podcast for women who are done doing this shit alone. Twice a month we gather here to do the body-based, nervous system forward, politically honest, spiritually grounded work of coming back home to yourself. Whatever brought you here today, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Take a breath with me. Feel where you are right now. Whatever surface is beneath you, a chair, a car seat, the ground itself. But let it hold you for a moment without you having to do anything about it. On your inhale, feel the length of your spine, the weight of your head, the place where your body meets whatever is supporting it. And on your exhale, let something soften. Your jaw, your shoulders, the place behind your eyes. That place where you've been holding something since this morning. Yeah. One more breath. Inhale and arrive here in this body on this day. Exhale. Good, you're here. I want to start today's episode by asking you something before we go anywhere else. When did you last feel safe in your own body? Not comfortable, not fine, but actually safe. The kind of safe where your shoulders are down and your breath is full and your mind is quiet enough that you can hear yourself think. Take a moment with that question. Don't answer it analytically, just notice what comes up for you. And if the answer is, I'm not sure, or it's been a while, that's exactly why we're here today. Today we're talking about the nervous system, not as a buzzword and not as a framework to optimize or a system to hack, but as the living, breathing, constantly responding architecture of how you move through your life. Because here's what I've noticed in myself and in the coaching clients I work with and the massage clients that I worked with for nearly 2 decades, about the moment someone finally understands what their nervous system is actually doing. Everything clicks. The patterns that felt like personality flaws suddenly make sense as survival responses. The reactions that felt like overreactions reveal themselves as completely logical given what the nervous system learned to expect. The exhaustion that felt like weakness turns out to be the entirely reasonable result of a system that has been working overtime for years, decades even. That moment of recognition that, oh, I'm not broken, I'm adapted, is one of the most important moments in this work. And it's where we're starting today. Your nervous system is your body's threat detection and response system. Its primary job, the job that it's been doing since before you were born, is to keep you alive. And it does this by constantly scanning the environment for signals of safety and danger. Not consciously, not with your input, but automatically, continuously, beneath the level of your awareness. Scanning. Nonstop. And when it detects safety, when the signals coming in say, this is okay, you are okay, it moves into what's called the ventral vagal state. This is regulation. This is where you have access to your full cognitive capacity, your creativity, your ability to connect with other people, your capacity for joy and pleasure and rest. This is the state where you feel like yourself. And when it detects threat, and threat can be physical danger, but it can also be emotional danger, relational danger, the particular danger of being in a situation that reminds your body of something that happened before, it mobilizes. It shifts into fight or flight. Adrenaline, cortisol, elevated heart rate, narrowed focus. Your body is getting ready to handle something. And when the threat feels overwhelming, when fight or flight isn't available or isn't working, it shuts down. Freeze. Collapse. the particular flatness of someone who has been in survival mode for so long that the system has stopped trying to fight and started trying to disappear. And here's what's important. All three of these states are intelligent. They are your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. There is no state that is wrong. There is no response that means something is broken. But, and this is the part that matters for this work, your nervous system learned what to expect from the world based on your early experiences. If the world you grew up in was unpredictable, your nervous system learned to stay alert. If the world you grew up in required you to manage other people's emotions, your nervous system learned to scan for signs of their distress. If the world you grew up in punished you for taking up too much space, your nervous system learned to make itself small. Those adaptations made sense then. They kept you safe. The question is, are they still serving you now? And there's a concept that I want to introduce, which you may have heard before. It's the window of tolerance. Your window of tolerance is the zone of arousal in which you can function, not perfectly and not without difficulty, but with access to your full self. Your thinking brain is online. You can feel your feelings without being overwhelmed by them. You can be in relationship with other people without either shutting down or flooding. Inside the window, you're regulated. Outside the window, either too activated, fight, flight, anxiety, rage, hypervigilance, or shut down, freeze, numbness, disconnection, the particular emptiness of someone who has stopped feeling. Your capacity narrows significantly. And here's what most people don't know. Your window of tolerance can be widened. Not through willpower and not through thinking harder about it, through the slow, patient, body-based work of teaching your nervous system that safety is available. That the threat level it learned to expect is not the threat level that actually exists. That it can afford to soften just a little, just for now, and nothing catastrophic will happen. That's the work. And I want to spend a moment on this because I think a lot of us have been dysregulated for so long that we've mistaken it for personality. Dysregulation doesn't always look like panic attacks and meltdowns. Sometimes it looks like the inability to make a decision, any decision, because your nervous system is in such a state of low-grade threat that nothing feels safe enough to commit to. The compulsive need to be productive, to be useful, to be doing something, because stillness feels dangerous. Because if you stop moving, something catches up with you. The hypervigilance about other people's moods, the way you can scan a room when you walk in, reading faces and body language before you've said a word, calibrating yourself to what everyone else needs before you've checked in with what you need. The inability to receive care, compliments, support, rest, because your nervous system learned that receiving makes you vulnerable, and vulnerability gets punished. The fawning, the over-explaining, the apologizing for existing, the way you make yourself smaller in rooms where you should feel safe, not because you want to, but because your body does it before your mind has a chance to intervene. Any of that sound familiar? None of that is personality. All of it is adaptation. And adaptation, unlike personality, can change. Here's what I want you to understand about why the body-based approach matters. Your nervous system is not in your head. It's not accessible through insight alone. You cannot think your way into regulation. And I say this as someone who tried for years, who read all the books and understood all the concepts and could explain polyvagal theory to anyone who asked, and still woke up at 3 a.m. with the particular dread of a nervous system that didn't get the memo that things were actually okay now. The nervous system changes through the body, through breath, specifically through the exhale, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system and signals safety to the brain, through movement, not exercise as optimization, but movement as the completion of stress cycles that got interrupted. Through touch, your own hands on your own body, which activates the same soothing responses as co-regulation with another person. Through titration, small gradual doses of the thing that activates you, held within your window of tolerance until the window expands. And through co-regulation, which is the part that most individual healing approaches miss entirely. Your nervous system regulates most effectively in the presence of other regulated nervous systems. And this isn't a luxury, it's biology. We are wired for co-regulation, for the settling that happens when you are in the presence of someone whose nervous system is telling yours, it's okay, we're safe, you can put it down. And this is why community is not a nice to have for this work. It's a necessary component of the process. Reclaiming your nervous system doesn't mean achieving permanent regulation. It doesn't mean never being activated again. It doesn't mean becoming someone who is always calm and never reactive and never wakes up at 3 a.m. with the dread. It means widening your window of tolerance so that when activation happens, and it will because life, you have more capacity to stay with it, to feel it without being consumed by it, to return to regulation more quickly because your system has learned through repeated experience that safety is available. It means learning the difference between a triggered response and an accurate read of the present moment. Because your nervous system is working from old data, and some of what it's warning you about stopped being true years ago. It means building a relationship with your body rather than managing it. Listening to the signals it sends rather than overriding them. Trusting what it knows rather than arguing with it. And it means doing some of this in community because the co-regulation piece is real. And it's the part you cannot get from a book or from a solo meditation practice or even from a really good therapist working with you one-on-one. The nervous system needs other nervous systems to fully heal. And that's not a weakness. That's how we're built as humans. Everything I've touched on today, the window of tolerance, the body-based practices, the co-regulation piece, goes significantly deeper in the Sacred Systems course bundle that's available as an upgrade inside the Spiral Path this fall. The Reclaiming Your Nervous System course inside Sacred Systems moves through all of this territory in a 6-week live container with coaching, with community, with the particular magic of doing this work alongside other women in the most expansive definition of that term, who are in the same water. It's not a course you consume alone. It's a container you inhabit together. And if today's episode opened a door for you, the Sacred Systems course bundle is what's on the other side of it. You can get on the wait list on my website at kellylynjewel.com/sacred systems. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with something to sit with. This week's prompt. Where in your life have you been treating a nervous system response as a personality trait? Don't answer analytically, just notice what comes up. Where have you said, I'm just an anxious person, or I'm just someone who needs to be in control, or I'm just bad at receiving? When what might actually be true is, my nervous system learned to respond this way, and it's been responding this way for so long, it started to feel like who I am. For me, the answer to this is, I'm just bad at being entertained. You don't have to do anything with what comes up, just notice. And if any part of today's episode cracked something open for you, I want to hear about it. DM me on Instagram or TikTok and tell me what landed. I read every single one. If you're inside the Spiral Path, bring this prompt to the community this week. The conversation that happens there is different from what happens in a DM. Both are welcome, both matter. Take one final breath with me. Inhale. Feel where you are. The ground beneath you, the air around you. Exhale and let something land.
Thank you for being here. If this episode landed somewhere, share it with the woman you thought of while you were listening. She needs it too. You can find me at kellylynjewel.com and on Instagram and TikTok at kelly.lyn.jewel. The show notes have everything else. I'm Kelly. This is Encomium, a tribute to you. Wherever you're listening, or if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. We're doing this together.